Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on Young Race Predictor. Today we are going to be doing the analysis, the top wonders and the moments of the Canadian Grand Prix that has taken place this weekend. Before we dive right into the top 3 moments and the wonders, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with all your friends and all the Formula 1 fans may know. With that being said, let's jump right into moment number 1 of this weekend. Of course, the biggest moment of this weekend, the McLaren Meltdown. This is the first race this entire season that McLaren has actually not had a very good race, with both the drivers finishing in decent positions. It's the first ever race this season where a McLaren has not finished on the podium. Oscar Piastri coming home in P4 and Lando Norris DNFing in the last moment. Compared to last time out where Canada actually delivered and in my opinion gave like almost an 8.5 out of 10 rating, this time about I would give it only about 6.5 to 7, because unlike the first half of the race, the last half, which was the last 10 to 15 laps, was what made the Canadian Grand Prix so good, and what made it so intense was the main issue which had taken place on lap 67 at the corner, which had an incident in 2011 in the exact same corner, in the exact same track, and in the exact same team. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris this time around have gone and had a collision onto the wall. This time around, Piastri actually did not have too much damage and he managed to continue the race. Norris had the same issue, except this time about with his front wing gone and damage to his tire, he had to retire in the end of the day. Honestly, in my opinion, it was just a little bit of too much pressure in my opinion, because normally making a move in that corner would be impressive, and especially Lando Norris is the kind of driver who is really good if when it comes to making moves just in the last moment. He's quite a good driver when it comes to making overtakes in the last moment, and unfortunately he thought there was a gap and he did not see it, and he went and he crashed onto Piastri. Yeah, it was a little bit of disappointment to see Norris and Piastri fight, especially they also were aware, they were talking about it the entire season, that there is at one point going to be a collision between the both of them, and it's so grateful to see that both of them are now not taking the issue as serious as how other teams would actually take. I mean, both of them are close and both of them are the top contenders, so normally you would expect a big fight to take place, but Norris taking up the entire responsibility. So indeed, that was really good from Lando Norris, and unfortunately due to that incident, he will be getting a 5-place grid penalty in the following race, while Piastri in the other hand would be, he would be safe. He finished P4 in the end of the race. So this was the biggest moment of this weekend. Moment number 2, Mercedes masterclass, is the actual entire opposite altogether. The team which we expected to perform but did not perform very well in the triple header compared to the remaining races this season actually managed to bounce back with a load of 40 points taken to this time about here in Canada. George Russell coming home to win the Canadian Grand Prix after an exhilarating qualifying lap, going on keeping it tight, just like how he had the pole position last time out here in this track. This time about he managed to keep it perfect, so that 12 months later this win, 70 laps, would be his, and he did get it. 70 laps later, the Canadian Grand Prix going to George Russell, and he was even more happy to see not just himself on the top step, but alongside him Kimi Antonelli is now standing on the podium in his first race of the season and just his 10th race in his Formula 1 career. So indeed, a big congrats to the entire Mercedes. What a way to bounce back after that disappointing triple header. P1 for George and P3 for Kimi Antonelli, making him the 3rd youngest driver to finish on the podium in the entire history of Formula 1. Moment number 3, Hulk at it again. Yeah, we just came to know that P5 was the best ever finish for Kick Sauber their entire career, and it took place last time around at Barcelona when Hulkenberg overtook Hamilton. Well, guess what? After a little bit of mishaps which took place in the last 10 laps, making this Grand Prix a little bit dramatic, the even dramatic fact was the last 4 drivers who finished on the podium were the teams which were almost like the back markers in the entire Formula 1 championship. Kick Sauber's Nico Hulkenberg actually finished in the points again. So really, Hulk is at it again. He is ready to show and push that car to limits that it has never been pushed to before. And if you have a driver like Nico Hulkenberg, who has the most experience on the grid without a podium to his name, honestly, Nico Hulkenberg is the most goated driver on the grid, in my opinion. If you give him like a top contending car, like for example Mercedes, I guarantee you he will get a win within the first 10 to 12 races. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate to see that he has not got a top contending team. But Nico Hulkenberg, needless to say, what a race he has had. finishing home in, I think, P7 or P8. So yeah, really big day for Nico Hulkenberg as well. This was moment number 3. Now let's jump right into the wonders, and wonder number 1, no hesitation, Nico Hulkenberg once again this weekend coming home in the points, and that honestly is amazing to see. The kick Sauber. I mean, at this point I don't know whether the car is actually slow or not, because Hulkenberg is actually taking it to the points. So Nico Hulkenberg, brilliant job. Really, he is indeed a wonder. Fernando Alonso, he also finished in the points after that P9, I think P9 or P8 in Barcelona, getting his first points of the season, and at his home he has converted that to the following race with a little bit more points to his championship and to his name. So Aston Martin's Alonso also, in my opinion, is a wonder. The Esteban Ocon has had celebrated the 200th Grand Prix here in Montreal, and it was so grateful to see Esteban Ocon finishing in P9 that day. And beautiful race indeed from Esteban Ocon, coming home with the points once again, adding 2 more points to his name, and now making him stand P9 in the World Championship. So Esteban Ocon, he has to be a wonder of this Grand Prix, no doubt whatsoever. On the team, I mean, yeah, we all know this. Mercedes, what a race they had. Kimi Antonelli finishing on the podium and George Russell in the win. I honestly have never been more happier to see 2 Mercedes drivers finish on the podium. I can't recall. I mean, yeah, I must have been before, but I can't recall the last time I had seen this happen. But at this time, I'm actually super happy to see both the drivers on the podium. It's a really surreal moment. Kimi has done a very good job. In the words of Toto Wolff himself, the small Kimi grows to the grande Kimi. He finished P3. I hope that he does get a Grand Prix win this season. But George Russell is doing a very good job already. I mean, we all know that. So P1 for Russell and P3 for Antonelli is, yeah, that makes Mercedes the best team of the entire weekend. So there we have it. Then has the championship stands. Isaac Hadjar 21 points, 1 behind Esteban Ocon. Alexander Albon 42. Unfortunate race last time out. He was hoping to finish in the points, but a little bit of an issue saw him retire in the end of the day. Antonelli with that podium pushed him to 63 points, just 16 behind Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc enters the 100 score group with a 104. Russell with that win with a 136. Verstappen manages to add more points to that deficit he had with Lando Norris, hopefully being part of the championship fight with 155 points. Norris, after that retirement, 176, but he is still a little bit of a distance behind, 22 points behind Oscar Piastri, who continues to lead the World Championship. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with all your friends and all the Formula 1 fans we know. See you next time for the next video, where we talk about the Austrian Grand Prix predictions. But until then, tuning in next time. Goodbye.